Hey guys, welcome back to Southfield. Going to do a quick layout update, let you know what I've got going on over here. The summer is slowly winding down for us here in the Midwest, and kind of wrapping up with a bunch of the house projects I've had going on. So spending more time in the basement and kind of looking forward to getting some more model railroading done. So this layout update starts with looking at the Northwestern lines. This is their C&NW HS 2022 calendar. So earlier this month, I flipped the calendar over to August, and I found a very interesting picture that kind of took me by surprise. Here's that picture that kind of surprised me because I didn't really understand what I was looking at. I've been a C&W modeler for multiple decades now, and I have to say that I've never actually seen a GP7 in this particular paint scheme. I'm not sure exactly what the official term for this paint scheme would be, but I just call it the 50-50 paint scheme because it's 50% yellow, 50% green, almost down the middle. So if we were to call this the 50-50 paint scheme, this would be the first time that I've ever seen a GP7 or GP9 in this paint scheme with a high hood. I've seen multiple chop nose GP9 rebuilds, and I've got a couple of them that I've built or I've purchased, but I've never seen this particular paint scheme on a high hood GP7 or GP9. So first couple of days of the month, it didn't really bother me that much. Then I started looking further into it, and I realized that it was the 50-50 paint scheme, and that I really wanted to have it because I'm a big fan of this paint scheme. So I wanted a pilgrimage to decide on what locomotive I would use to turn into 1635. So after going back and forth for a couple of days, looking to see what I had in my inventory, realizing that I didn't have anything that would suit this purpose, I looked at the obvious options. Athearn Genesis makes a nice high hood Jeep 9, and so does Walther's Mainline. Now, I know in one of my earlier videos, I did definitely hark on Walther's a lot for producing a good quality locomotive, but that doesn't come with grab irons installed. And I still stand by that. However, it is a good quality locomotive. So the decision was made that I was going to use the Walther's Mainline Phase 2 high hood Jeep 9. Looked around for what paint scheme I could find that was in existence and available that would be easy enough to strip the original printing off of so that I could repaint it and not see what was left underneath it. I decided that KCS was a very good paint scheme to use for this particular purpose, mostly because the unit was completely white and all it had was the big KCS letters on the long hood and just a small set of numbers on the cab underneath the window. Should be a pretty easy strip. So I'm going to throw in a video and some pictures of the unit that I ended up picking up from Lombard Hobbies and the process I went through for for stripping it down and preparing it for paint. There will probably just be a bunch of pictures from now on, hopefully with some narration if I can figure out how to make that work, about how the process has been going. So far, I've got it in paint, but waiting for the paint to dry before I start decaling it. So it's definitely not done. Towards the end of this video, I'll show you what I actually have, where I am. But for the time being, enjoy some videos of a KCS unit. Okay guys, this is the way that I remove factory paint from a locomotive. Hopefully this shows up in the video. So this is a 1635 project. This is the process that I use when using Super Clean, available at pretty much any auto parts store. I believe I actually picked that up at Menards. So this unit's only been in here for maybe 10 minutes right now. Just a paintbrush after a light soak, and this depends on what manufacturer is actually what manufacturer you're working with. Athearn sometimes takes a little bit longer. Atlas, I have an SD24 that I'm working on converting to an SD18. Boy, I had that sucker in this stuff for probably 3 days, and there was some of the striping on it that I just could not get off even after 3 days of soaking. But this has only been in here for maybe 10 minutes at this point, and as you can see, hopefully you can see, pretty much a non-KCS unit at this point. So this stuff, I do not claim to have invented it by any means. Somebody on YouTube showed it to me. I've been using it ever since. Obviously, there's a couple of other ways of stripping the factory paint off of it, off of a locomotive. Microsol from Micromark. Micromark? No, not Micromark. From Microscale, sorry. Does a very good job as well, but that's a much more tedious process. So if you're looking for a quick removal of the actual paint that's on it, and not the paint, but the actual striping or the lettering that's on it, then this has been a very, very good product for me. I'm fighting this little piece right here. Not exactly sure why it's being such a pain in the butt, but we're gonna let that soak a little bit. The cab is in here. This has already been denumbered, and that was nice and easy. The nice thing about this stuff, and I can't really figure out exactly why it works the way that it does, but if you look at it carefully, let's see if I can get this in zoom, you can see that the silver around the actual window frames is still there. So for some reason, it doesn't remove that. The black that's on the steps is still there. But the red numbers that were printed on the sides of it, completely gone. So I'm going to let this soak in here for a couple more minutes and get the rest of that taken off. Oh, also, side note to that, the number boards are still totally there. So I don't know exactly what kind of paint they use to actually put the writing that's on the side of it. But this particular super purple, what the hell is it called again? Super Clean, sorry. This Super Clean does a terrific job of eating just that stuff away and not the actual paint. So I'm gonna let that soak in there for a couple of minutes. And this whole project so far has been 30 minutes into it, and pretty much going to be ready for paint by the end of the day today. So thanks to all the guys online who actually have a couple of pictures that they took back in the 70s of this unit. I've got a couple of prototype photos to go off of. And here is where we are at the end of the day today. So this is what the KCS unit has become. It is a 50-50 C&NW Jeep 9. This was definitely a bit of a challenge. One of the things about it is that these battery box doors over here, they do not come off of the frame. So the problem with that is that they need to be painted yellow, and the rest of the frame needs to be painted green. So there was an immense amount of masking that was necessary just to get that one little piece to be yellow, while the rest of it stayed green. That took definitely a couple of hours by itself. As far as the rest of the shell itself, I'm using Scale Coat 2 paints. I have the C&NW green, C&NW yellow, and I've come to the conclusion once and for all that nobody can actually match C&NW yellow. I don't understand what the problem is. Maybe I'm just too picky. But their original C&NW yellow, it wasn't Zito yellow, it wasn't old yellow, it was just yellow. So I ended up having to add a bunch of orange into it just to kind of get it a little bit closer to C&NW yellow, and I got it closer. It's still not exactly where I'd want it to be, but I did settle for that. I think I'll be able to weather it in pretty good, get a little bit more orange into it. But the C&NW green from Scale Coat is pretty decent, so I'm fairly happy with that. But the yellow, yeah, I don't know. Can't find C&NW yellow that just looks correct. So, but overall, this unit right now is drying. It's ready for a coat of gloss and then some decals. And then after that, got to reassemble everything onto it and install the grab irons that don't come installed on Walther's mainline from the factory. But I did get a sound unit. I got to say the ESU, Essential Sound Unit decoders, can't really argue with them. I mean, for the price that they are, the sound they produce and the operation that they give you is definitely worth the money, especially with a drive hold feature. It's almost like prototype throttle without really having to tune it. So I did really enjoy that. So that's basically where we are right now. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I'll have more progress on this unit. Now moving on into the actual layout room, we've got some bench work. So as I said in one of my earlier videos, that it feels like when the fall hits, I might start doing lower level bench work for continuing the lower level, and looks like I was right. So see if I can give you a good walk around here. So don't mind the mess everywhere. I had to pull out everything that used to be under there, and it's just kind of strewn around all over the place. So a couple of things that have been decided. One, I've expanded the lower level from 18 inches, what it used to be right there, to 21 inches with those spacers back there. So now we're going to be 21 inches deep, 18 inches tall down here in the lower level. And try not to shake this camera here. You can see the tape outlines on the floor. So I am, I guess, what you would call a one-to-one scale modeler. I like to lay stuff out and actually figure out how everything is going to look in real life before I decide exactly what I'm building. I've never really had good luck using any rail or any kind of other track design software. I like to just feel it, see it in person. So the green lines right there indicate various roads that are going to be there, because it's going to be a downtown area. And the inside blue tape line is the single track main line. It's going to be on the lower level. The outside is the actual edge of the layout as it's going to run on the lower level. So this particular area is underneath the northwest corner. And this is where we have quite a bit of depth. So what I'm doing is I'm using that depth to create a larger downtown area for the other town that's going to be down there that's yet to be named. And not much to see there. It's mostly in my head right now, but I do have a drawing of it. Actually, hang on. There we go. This is about as close as I can get to drawing it out before I actually put it out on one-to-one. So this is the area that we're looking at right here. It'll make more sense once there's actually the rest of the bench work here. So I'm going to run it till about here where that support starts. This will be the first section that I'm going to do. And this will also be probably a project for during the week, just to kind of work on that and finish that up. And then I'll actually mock up some track on there, mock up some structures for the downtown area, and see exactly what kind of changes might need to be made. So what else can I point out here? Benchwork is 1x3 premium pine from Menards, and it is supported by 2x3 legs, and it's also attached to the 2x4 legs in the back that support the main level at this point. Like I said, 21 inches deep. I'm gonna have on that further section down there, you can see that there is 1/4 inch OSB wafer board, and then even further back you can see the 2-inch pink foam that's going to go on top of that. So that's going to be the base for this particular for this construction down here. I decided to go with a 2-inch thick foam because I wanted to have the ability to do varying terrain without having to do really anything else besides carve the foam down if I wanted to have, you know, a ditch or a lake or, you know, anything along those lines. So that's the way that this is going to be set up. Plus, obviously, it also provides a nice, easy surface for modeling, you know, the plains of the Midwest, which is basically what I'm modeling here. So there you have it. That'll do it for this layout update. Try to keep it short and sweet. Hopefully, within the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to get this unit completed and get it out in the layout and actually have a picture of it in front of its picture, just to see if the mission was accomplished at trying to duplicate it. Thanks for watching, and have fun running your trains.